By request, I'm doing a video on the hand throttle setup in my Toyota. This is my hand throttle. It's mounted on the 5-speed shift lever. But real quick, I'll show you about my center stack and what my controls do. This is my 5-speed shift lever, factory transmission in the truck. It's a W56. The crawl box is from a 79 Toyota, so it has straight cut gears. It's a factory ratio of 2.28 to 1. The shift lever is a broken axle shaft. You can see it broke clean off. Anyway, that's a factory 30 spine. Toyota shaft broken. That's the shift lever. Just thought it was cool. The rear case is twin sticked with a shifter setup from Dave's Off-Road. This one actually is custom. He will make them for you if you request it. It's the only thing that's custom about it is that my transfer case is clocked 10 degrees that way. I'm sorry, 10 degrees this way, because the output is on the passenger side and it's clocked up. So he made me a twin stick shift lever with the levers 10 degrees bent, so they come straight up the middle. And anyway, definitely recommend his shift lever kit. And these are his knobs. And one of these shifters does the 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive. The other one does the low range box, which my rear case has a 4.7 gear set in it. So it's a 2.28 gear set. That's a 4.7 gear set. So I have normal low range. I've got 4.7, which is double of this. So a double low range. And then I can lock them both in and have a little bit over 10 to 1, something like that, which would be like quadruple low range, something like that. But 2.28, 4.7, I can use any combination of the two. I can use 4.7, I can use 2.28, or I can use both. So I really have 3 different low range ratios, which gives me 4 different range ratios altogether: high range, low range, double low range, triple low range. It goes all the way down to about 230 to 1 in the lowest in first gear with both of these locked in. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. Hand throttle. So basically, TerraFlex makes a kit to put a hand throttle on a Jeep with a 4-liter or a 2.5 liter. I had one of those before and I loved it, but they don't make a kit for a Toyota. So this is adapted to a Toyota. So I'm gonna show you how it works and how it's set up so it can help you. Basically, it's a bicycle shift lever, nothing super fancy. Instead of mounting to a handlebar, it just mounts to the shift lever. And this little screw thing here sets the tension on this lever. So if it's loose like that, then the lever has a spring, and it's spring operated like a throttle or like a pedal. And if I snug it down a little bit, then it'll stay where I put it, like that. And I'll show you how that works with the gas pedal in a moment. And real quick, I'm going to show you how it's set up in the engine bay. Okay, here we are in the engine bay. This is a bone stock 22 RE. Has like 90,000 miles on it. Every single vacuum line is hooked up. Everything works on the truck, including the AC. Completely unmolested 22 RE. Only modification being the hand throttle. So you can see the welds here. What I did is I took the factory throttle linkage assembly off, and I cut off the runner that goes to the cruise control. So this is the throttle cable that comes from the fuel pedal, and this is the hand throttle linkage or cable, and I've got it bolted to where the cruise control would mount. So this cable comes in like this, and there's a cable stopper on it, and it has some adjustment to it in case it stretches or anything like that, but I haven't had any issues with that. So this is a factory bracket, and this is the factory setup for cruise control. Comes in this way, but I believe, now this one didn't have cruise control, but I believe the cruise control pushes because it wasn't set up to pull. So if this was pulling on the top, it would close the throttle. The throttle needs to turn clockwise to open, and I believe the cruise control will hook up this other way. Anyway, I've never had one with cruise control, so I don't know, but there is a provision for cruise control. But what I had to do was cut off the runner for cruise control and weld it on the back side of this. So what you can see is I have two runners next to each other. So here's a close-up of the two runners. So I have two runners next to each other. So this one has been cut off of up here and welded on down here. So what that gives me is two cables that can run to the throttle and pull. So when the throttle has to pull to open this way. So they both have the ability to pull and not interfere with each other. So you may be asking, well, how do you have two throttle cables that work together? Well, let me show you. First, I'm going to get in the truck and I'm going to push the gas pedal, and you'll see how the throttle opens. And then I will push the hand throttle, and you can see how the throttle opens. So as you can see from that, when you use the gas pedal and not touching the hand throttle, basically this one pulls and this one slacks. So this one just goes slack, and vice versa. When I pull this one and this one's not being used, this one goes slack. So they work together. I can use one or the other without interfering with the operation of the other. So now here comes the cool part, is what I can do with the hand throttle and still use the fuel pedal or the gas pedal, the skinny pedal, whatever you want to call it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in the truck and I'm going to set the hand throttle to, I don't know, approximately 2,000 RPM. I've got the engine off because it would just be really loud for the video, even though it's not a loud engine or loud exhaust or anything like that. It's to cut down on noise. I will do a live demonstration here in a moment, but I'm going to show you I can set the hand throttle to maybe like 2,000 RPM, so it'd be cracked open a little bit, and it'll hold it there, and then I can use the gas pedal to give it more. And then when I let off the gas pedal, it goes down to the setting that I have the hand throttle set to, and then I'll let it go back down to idle, and I'll show you how I can use the hand throttle. I'm going to set up a live demonstration real quick, and what you're going to see is minute adjustments here. It doesn't take a lot of throttle movement to get a lot of revs out of an engine, as you know, especially right off the rip, you know, with the throttle closed and throttle open. That's a big difference. So what you're going to see in this video, I'm going to have to set the camera up on like a ladder because the vehicle vibrates a lot, and you're going to hear a lot of vibrations, and I apologize for that. But you'll see this will tighten up. So you'll see the hand throttle is going to set the throttle just a little bit open. It's not going to be a lot of movement. So I'm going to idle up with the hand throttle, and then I'm going to rev it with the fuel pedal, and it's going to go back here, and then I'll let off the hand throttle, and you'll see it rest back to idle. And you'll be able to see the gas pedal in use and the hand throttle in use. And you'll have to pay attention to which one of these tightens up and which one of those is slack in each moment. Okay, as you could tell from the last video, the engine has a lot of vibrations. Sorry about that, but it's kind of a byproduct of having a 4-cylinder engine that has solid motor mount, solid trans mount, and in a fully caged, fully welded rig. So its vibrations are something I live with. I've got the cab dynamatted and everything, so it's not really that bad. But when I'm just sitting here revving it, it's pretty vibrating, and I apologize for that, but it's the nature of the beast. So what I was trying to show you in that video was two things. First of all, you only need minute adjustments to get a lot of fuel. You guys probably know this, but opening the throttle body just a little bit, visually, the throttle body only opens a little bit to give you a lot of revs. So that's hopefully what you saw in that video. Is I was adding fuel like this and idling up the engine with the hand throttle, and then adding fuel with the gas pedal, and this kept the idle up. So I'm able to adjust my baseline idle with this if I choose to do so. I can drive around all day and use the gas pedal normally and not touch the hand throttle, or I can use the hand throttle. If I loosen this little set screw, I can hold the gas, or I can hold the brake and the clutch and use this, so I can basically use all three pedals at once. So I have gas, brake, clutch, and I can use all of them at once and do some really fine tuning or really controlled driving. I can also get crazy and crank this wide open and leave it there and sidestep the clutch at the same time I let off the brake. So it's allowing me to use three pedals at once without having 3 feet. But I can also tighten this nut down, increase my idle. If I'm in a spot where I mean, it's not typical that I would stall this with all this low range reduction, but if the engine's running rough, or it's on like a really bad incline, or if it's just some situation where I need more idle, I can idle it up, and it'll stay at 2,000 or whatever this is. I can still use my gas pedal, but when the RPMs fall back down, they'll actually fall down to whatever I have this set at. So this is my new idle setting. Basically, I can set a high idle, or basically an engine speed cruise control, and it kind of works like cruise control, where it'll stay at this speed, and I can add fuel, and if I let off, it'll go back down to this speed here, not to idle, until I drop it to idle here. And keep in mind, when this is in the down position, I can use the gas pedal normally, so there's nothing impeding the use of the gas pedal. So in normal driving on the trail, when I'm just driving around, the gas pedal is not impeded at all by the hand throttle. So hopefully this clears up some questions and shows how I made this hand throttle, how I got it to work on my Toyota, and the overall operation of the system.